People chat about how immersive Breath of the Wild is, but few things are as good at snapping me out of the believability of a world than a thick length of fire-forged metal that shatters like glass after it's hit a big lizard in the face a couple of times.
Zelda Breath of the Wild on the new Nintendo Switch, also on the Wii U. And this game released with almost universal praise. Universal praise. Instantly, it has been deemed not only a great game, but the greatest game of all time. People look at the Metacritic. They tell you go to the Metacritic. Look at it. Look at it. It's like in the top 5. It's right up there. Right up there. Or at least it was. It was sitting at like a 98, right? You look at all the reviews. I'm not saying some of those early reviews might have been a little shady, okay? But all those reviews, 9s and 10s. And you look at the user reviews. The user reviews, right? A lot of 10s, a lot of 9s. A lot of dumbass 0s from people just giving it a 0 to be trolling. But there's a lot of reviews there of 7s and 8s. Then they state the big legitimate problems keeping this game from reaching perfection. Okay? And this is not me. This is not, because I've played the game for maybe 5-6 hours. There's people on there that's played it all the way through. Not the critics, right? Not the people that have a job criticizing games. But the people that actually played it. And you can tell from these long descriptive reviews, not just the people trolling, giving it 0s or 1s that don't like Nintendo, people talking about the legitimate concerns they have with the game and what it does wrong. Yes, my friends, this game, this breathtakingly once-in-a-lifetime, greatest of all-time game does have glaring flaws. Some of these I encountered, some of these I didn't. Like I said, I played it for 5 or 6 hours, okay? So I can't give you a definitive review of the game. But in those 5 or 6 hours, I can tell you without a shadow of a damn doubt, it is not the greatest game of all time. It is not a perfect game. It is not the greatest game I've ever played personally, but, opinions are kind of like assholes, everybody has them. But what made me really angry when I went to Metacritic, and I saw all these critical reviews, separate from the user reviews, it seems like almost all of these critical reviews of the game that gave it 10s out of 10s, they didn't talk about certain things. They didn't talk about the vast open world, which is a new thing for Zelda. The vast open world that seems kind of empty, lacks density, right? Okay, light criticism. They barely mentioned the crippling stamina system. Maybe the stamina gets better, maybe you can upgrade it, but I know early on in the game, I've never been more frustrated with a stamina bar. You have a combination of a really wonderful looking, huge world, maybe one of the biggest worlds ever created in a video game, and Link with his stamina system. Link can run about as fast as your grandpa with a brick in each fucking pocket. I'm serious, he's really, really slow. I mean, most of the game you'll be focusing on that little evil stamina orb over your left shoulder. 'Cause that tells you how much fun you can have. That tells you how fast you can go. Completely out of place in a game like this. And what else? What else was a criticism that Jim had, and I also have with the game? Well, games like Dead Rising 3, survival games maybe, that have breaking weapons. It's in a lot of games, right? And we've pretty much come to be okay with this. But the weapon breaking in this game is the worst. By far the worst you have ever seen in any game. If you think it was bad in Dead Rising or something, if you picked up a pickaxe or a sledgehammer or something like that and you were a little bit disappointed that it doesn't last, you can't kill maybe 100 zombies with it or 200 with it, You literally pick up a weapon in Breath of the Wild, and after you hit one or two enemies, it just dissolves. It just goes away. So you have to stop the combat. The combat which many people that gave this a perfect score, they praise. They praise the combat without even mentioning how jarring it is. How fucking jarring it is to have to keep constantly switching your shitty weapons back and forth. It gets to the point where you're like, what's the whole point? What is the point of picking up a weapon if it breaks like 5 seconds later? Doesn't make any damn sense. Now, the defenders of this say like, well, it just kind of adds difficulty to the game. Like, no, it's stupidity. It adds stupidity to the game. And what about when it rains? Everyone gushes over this new mechanic to where, if you're trying to climb something and it rains, guess what? The rain makes it slippery to where you can't climb. Isn't that great, guys? You can't climb because it's raining, huh? Isn't that realistic? Just like something that would happen in real life, but it's in a video game. That shit's not fun. At one time, these reviewers are saying, hey, realism, look at the realism. I don't think if I pick up like a club or an axe or something, I don't think I pick up a weapon and it lasts for 5-10 seconds. Okay, so on the one side, people defending Breath of the Wild, and here again I'll say, just for all of you getting triggered, it's a good game. I recommend buying this game. It is a good game. It's not a fucking perfect game. It's not the best of all time. Here's what I'm doing. Same thing that Jim did. Same reason Jim's getting a lot of fucking hate right now is he's being a critic. Isn't that interesting? A critic. He's being a critic of a game. Okay? He's maybe just saying it's not perfect. It's not a 10 out of 10. Off with his head, right? Off with anybody's head who doesn't think that this game is the best thing since sliced bread. Look away, all of you Nintendo fanboys, look away at all the glaring flaws in this game's design. Okay? Look away. Now, what about the story, right? The story. It's really not anything memorable or breathtaking. If you compare it to other games like Witcher 3, for instance, with all those branching paths, and I'm not going to go into it. I could talk all day. But how amazing Witcher 3's story is. You really don't get that in Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's not bad, but for 30 years, we basically had the same story in Zelda. You know, basically, there's been some deviations. But for 30 years, it's always been, Link, you must rescue Princess Zelda from Ganon. You're her only hope. Please, rescue her from the big bad evil Ganon. The fuck? Right? That's not revolutionary. The story's not revolutionary. It's not anything new. It's not a spin on anything. It's the same story, just remixed. Okay? And, you know, you can look by that. You can look by that. No, you really can't, though. You can't, right? Because here's what I'm doing today. If you wonder what I'm doing. If you're a little confused. I'm going to be one of the voices of reason. Okay? One of the voices of reason telling all of you that Zelda is a good game. I played it, I think it's a good game. But it's not the best game of all time, guys. It just isn't. Okay? I know a lot of you out there just got your Switch, you're so excited about it, and you just feel like you just got your hands on the best game of all time. And maybe to you, maybe you feel like it is. But it's okay if it's not. You don't need to give shit to people that have legitimate concerns about the game and show its flaws. I mean, when Activision or Ubisoft or EA comes out with a game that has flaws, people are really quick to tear that shit down. People are really quick to tear that shit down. But for some reason, when it's a Mario game or a Zelda game, those are held in high regard. People can't even criticize that shit. So Jim Sterling. He dared. He dared to make a review talking about some of the things that I talked about, because we have a lot of the same feelings about the game. And this is where I'm telling you guys I've come to respect Jim Sterling, because he had the massive set of balls to give this game a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, right? I'm not going to tell you what I would give it, because really, it doesn't matter. That's the other point I'll get to. What I think about a game doesn't matter. You know what? If you pick up a game and you play a game and you love the game to death, that's what matters, okay? You play the fuck out of that game and you enjoy it, you appreciate it. That's all you got to do. Jim Sterling gave his honest opinion on this game. And you know what happened to Jim Sterling? His website got DDoSed. I tried to go and read his review, but I can't right now. His website is offline. You know why? Because fucking man-children couldn't handle someone giving their honest opinion on a video game. Because it wasn't kids. It wasn't little kids that DDoSed him. Think about this. All these man-children, all these fragile little motherfuckers living in their safe space are mad at Jim. And this is the beautiful part. You know why they're mad at Jim Sterling? This is hilarious. Because his review single-handedly, it brought Zelda's Metacritic down from 98 to 97. A huge fall for the greatest game of all time. 98 to 97. People losing their shit. People otherwise totally engrossed in this game stopped playing that game, and they went and they gave Jim all kind of shit. And some of them DDoSed his site. Think about that. One person reviews a game, and people can't handle it that bought the game and love the game. It means you love the game so much. Jim hurt the game's feelings, I guess. You are so fucked up in the head if this is what your life amounts to. If all your life is defending fucking Nintendo products and defending video games, you're so hurt. You thought you owned the best game of all time. But big old mean Jim Sterling, he smacked your asses down and gave this game its 7 out of 10. Wow. And he wasn't the only one. Slant gave it a 6 out of 10, which I think is a little bit too extreme, but they mentioned a lot of the same criticisms. Now, am I just going to talk about Zelda for my Hunter video? No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about game reviews in general, and why you shouldn't care. I'm gonna help a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna try to be a little bit of a help here. Has there ever been a time where you watched a movie and you thought it was a great movie, but then you went over to Metacritic or you went over to Rotten Tomatoes and it didn't get a good review, and you started to feel like that great movie that I saw wasn't that good because other people, other professional paid reviewers, didn't like it that much? Well, I'm going to lift that burden from you, and I'm going to tell you not to give a fuck what other people think about something. Just in general, with your life. Don't give a fuck what other people think about anything that you love. If you love something, or if you love someone, don't give a fuck what other people think. All that matters in life is you, and what you care about and what you love. I mean, hell, you might like Ride to Hell Retribution. You might think that game is the best of all time. I'm not gonna say nothing, right? You might like Superman 64, huh? Yeah. You might like Adam Sandler movies. I'm not gonna judge. There's one movie I went to see. The Witch. About a year or two ago. I went to see that movie. And that movie was so bad it single-handedly ruined my date. I've never been to a movie so bad where it's so shitty it ruins your date, right? And everyone in the theater, because the movie ended and we didn't even know it ended. We were like, is that it? Is that fucking it? Everybody just in the chorus of, what the fuck? When the credits started to roll, we were like, So they all got together and they was naked and then they became demons? I don't even know what the fuck happened at the end of the movie. I mean, I was happy that there was a naked chick at the end of the movie, because then I woke up. I was like, whoa, naked chick at the end of the movie. What's going on? It's going to be interesting. And then ends. Okay? I thought, man, this is a terrible movie. It's probably getting 20, 30%. I go to Rotten Tomatoes and it's like at a 92. It's like at a 92. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, really? Am I that off? Is my opinion that off? And then that's when I started to feel the way I do about critics and reviewers. It doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter. I mean, you know, Angry Joe. A lot of people go to Angry Joe's reviews and they take his word as the gospel. And they will actually not go buy a game or buy a game because he gives it his badass seal of approval. Like, how impressionable are you as a person to not go buy a game because of what fucking Angry Joe says about it?
It's a 1! It's a 1 out of 10!